Hi, and welcome back to Inside School Psych. Again, my name is Jason Romero, school psychologist in Southern California. And today I want to talk about my first year as a school psychologist. So here we go. So my first year as a school psychologist, I was at a preschool site and an elementary site. And at the preschool site, I was really comfortable because I had just come out of a position working with 0 to 5 year olds, so early Head Start and preschool. So I was comfortable working with kids that age group, and I kind of knew what I was going to be getting into because of that experience. So that was definitely helpful. The psychs there helped me understand more of the process. Being like a first year, they knew I had tons to learn, so they were just very helpful in making sure I had the assessment kits that they used, and they made sure that they introduced me to every single team player. And so I was just very thankful to come into an environment where they were willing to help me out. And I learned so much my first year. And being at the preschool site, even though I was familiar with the age group, everything was just new to me as a school psych, and almost like a deer in the headlights, like, oh wow, here we go. And I'm glad I paid attention in class. So and in my internship, so which I'll talk about that on another video. But it was great to be able to be part of the preschool team. I worked closely with other school psychs, speech therapists, BCBAs, autism specialists, and general ed teachers, admin. And it was just such a great opportunity for me to be one of the first couple of people that parents are interacting with in special education. Some of them were transitioning from IRC into school age services, and some were, first kind of new to being part of special education, and knowing that their child has some type of difficulty or deficit. So it was definitely a learning process, being able to communicate that as a first year school psych to parents that were new to. Really enjoyed being part of this community. It was just such a well knit school, and I just was thankful that everyone there was very gracious with me. I mean, they all knew I was a first year psych, and however, they didn't treat me like that, or they didn't, think less of me. They were just very kind, really, and they welcomed me into their well knit community. So I was very thankful for that. As a being a first year psych, I didn't, and a new site, new district, and all that. I really didn't know how to navigate being able to get into SACE, being able to, utilize Aries. So all of that stuff was new to me as just being on my own. So I was just very thankful that one psych in particular, I won't mention her name, but she was willing to come and help me, support me, get all of my logins situated. She was my go-to for the district, and she just, I don't know where, just came in and helped me. And I was so thankful for her. And she was just very kind and just willing, even though she had her own caseload and her own, work to complete. She was just very willing to help me. And I was so thankful for that. So for those of you that are seasoned psychs, I highly recommend being available to the newcomers coming in and the first year psychs. Be kind, take care of them. And I look back at that year, and if it wasn't for her, I probably would have just had a meltdown, because I needed a whole lot of info, and she was my go-to. So I was very thankful. Now, some districts will have like a point person to, go and help you with the onboarding. This particular site just didn't have that, but she just made it a point to come and help me. And maybe she was a point person. I honestly don't know, but all I know is she came to the rescue, and I was very thankful for that. And like I said, she did not have to, but she was willing to help me and get me started on the right path. So very thankful for you. So if you're watching this, thank you. I really appreciate it. This elementary school site in particular, like I said, was very welcoming, well-knit community. And so enjoy, if you have that. I mean, there's many school sites that do have that community and that unity. So if you have that, just enjoy it and be a part of it. And let me know your thoughts on how your first year is. So curious to see how others have experience being a school psych the first year. Even though I was able to get the job done and provide services to both of my sites my first year, I definitely didn't feel prepared. I had so much more to learn. I still do have much to learn. And that first year made me realize, like, oh wow, I really need to step up and be a self learner, and just prepare myself a lot more than what school had provided. Not that my schooling was horrible, it's just once you're on your own, there's very limited resources available to you. Now I'm sure things have changed since then, but my experience was that I was on my own and I was expected to perform. So uh, yeah, it was fun. I do remember, now this is a story that I share a lot because it still, I wouldn't say haunts me, but it's still part of me. And I was in an IEP meeting, and if the SLP that I'm going to refer to, I'm not going to mention her name, but uh, I definitely was impacted by a statement that she made, which was completely honest and was appropriate. And it just happened to like hurt my feelings. So what I'm about to say is just on me to mainly on me in my growth process and what these experiences, like I get to go back mentally and just like, wow, I learned so much, and this particular situation was helpful and has been helpful throughout my career. With that being said, I was in an IEP meeting and we were finished up. I had copies for everyone, so we were finished up, and obviously uh pre-COVID, so everyone had a copy, a physical copy, and multiple pages were printed. And at the end of the meeting, there's an SLP that told me, and she was great at what she did, phenomenal. She said that the report wasn't all that organized, or that some template areas were like in between pages and the layout was just funky. And so she wasn't telling me this, she was just telling someone else. And so overhearing it, I was like, oh, that hurts. So, and I was new, and in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm definitely getting fired. Like, what's going on? And so from then on, I made it a point to always go back and see the structure of my report. So now I will, for example, take a heading. Let's say the heading is cognitive assessments, and I will make sure that it is not in between a 2 pages. It's maybe not at the bottom only of one page. I will hit that return button so that it's at the top of the page, and that it's just structured and it looks aesthetically well. And that was what she mentioned. It just was kind of sloppy, I guess. And being a first year psych, I didn't know what sloppy was, or what, I just knew I needed to write the report and submit it. So I wasn't really looking at that, I guess. So the fact that she said that, it just created this just anxiousness. And I ended up going back and looking at it and saying, okay, this is what she's talking about. So now I just hit return to make sure everything just flows well, and that it doesn't look sloppy, or that doesn't take up space that is unneeded, that everything's kind of one cohesive report. And so yeah, that was my experience. Like I said, she wasn't making fun of me. She wasn't being disrespectful whatsoever. She was being honest about the report, because her information was in there. The academic assessor, her information was in there. So we're all doing this multidisciplinary report, and she's just happened to catch this kind of maybe preference, and that's okay. We're all very different in the way we approach things and see things. So it was just great for me, because then I was able to take that experience and run with it. And I ran with it. Fast forward, I saw her, I think maybe last year, maybe less than a year ago, and somehow she knew that I had mentioned this to someone else, and it was just so impactful to me. So she literally came up to me and was like, "I'm so sorry that I said that about your report. I didn't make she was apologizing. I was like, no, 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 no. Like, please do not apologize. Like, I've utilized that to be way more effective in the way I'm presenting a report, or the way I'm working with teams. Like, I just have taken that, and I could have easily, and thankfully I didn't. I could have easily taken that criticism and just ran with it, and maybe not even acknowledged her or been mad at her, or I'm never going to be a school psych. I didn't do that. I'm so thankful that I didn't, because it was just such a great learning experience. And maybe I'm making it a too big of an issue, but it stayed with me and it's been impactful to me. And so I've passed that along to others, and I just like a report to be neat now and to be effective and organized. And again, that could be from that experience, but I'm just so thankful for that. So if you catch yourself doing things like that, and someone says something about that, I would take it as a learning experience. I wouldn't take it as a negative criticism. So I'm always trying to get better. I'm always trying to see how I could change things up every year. So that's a little story for you. So even though I was a first year school psych, having previous work in education, even though I wasn't a teacher or in admin role at a district, being in education helped me throughout my first year as a school psychologist. Working in special education, even though it wasn't again in the district or SELPA, just like a service provider in an agency, definitely helped me to be able to navigate some of the language and services, being a first year psych. However, regardless of that experience, before being a school psych, it just altogether, my first year was difficult. So if you find yourself having difficulty or staying up too late, or I don't know, just being overwhelmed, like that's completely understandable. Like we're learning so much our first year, even our internship years. Like I felt like I had an amazing, and I'll talk about this, but I had an amazing internship year. Even though there was some drama initially, I just it felt like I wasn't as prepared. And some people will tell you that too, like their first year, they were just learning so much more. So if you're in your school, your first year, I understand. Reach out, let me know how I can help or give you perspective. And again, I'm just drawing from what I've gone through. So yeah, I hope that this helps you, and I hope that we're able to share some of the same experiences, because it was for me a hard learning experience. So let me know how you're doing in your first year as a school psychologist, or send me an email or message. Let me know how your first year went. It definitely was a challenge for me, and but I'm thankful for that first year, and I think we could all look back and see the growth. So yeah, so take care. Thanks for checking out Inside School Psych, and let me know how you're doing in the comment section. And again, follow on Instagram, and let me know how you're doing. Take care.